Ever wondered why the thought of expressing your feelings to someone can be so terrifying? Why does rejection hurt so much? Today, we're exploring the fear of rejection in relationships. It's a common fear, one that may hold us back from experiencing the full spectrum of human connection. This fear can impact our lives in profound ways, shaping our relationships and even our sense of self. Understanding the root cause of this fear can help us overcome it. So, let's dive into the psychology of the fear of rejection. We are social creatures by nature. Our survival once depended on our ability to be part of a group. This is why rejection can feel like a threat to our very existence. Let's take a trip back in time, to the era when our ancestors roamed the earth. Back then, being part of a group wasn't just about having company or feeling loved. It was about survival. Food was scarce and predators were plentiful, so being ostracized from the group was equivalent to a death sentence. This deep-rooted fear of rejection, born from our evolutionary history, still lingers within us today. Fast forward to modern times, we're no longer running from saber-toothed tigers, but the fear of rejection still triggers a similar response in our minds. Studies have shown that rejection activates the same pathways in our brain that are triggered when we experience physical pain. This is why rejection can feel so intensely painful, almost like a punch in the gut. But why does this matter in relationships? Well, this fear can lead to self-sabotaging behaviors. You see, when we're afraid of rejection, we may start to act in ways that actually increase the likelihood of the very rejection we're trying to avoid. We might become overly clingy or distant, or even pick fights. We might start to doubt our worth or become overly critical of ourselves. These behaviors can put a strain on relationships, leading to a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts, where our fear of rejection leads to the very rejection we feared. But here's the good news. Understanding is the first step to overcoming. By understanding the psychology behind the fear of rejection, we can start to recognize when this fear is influencing our behaviors. We can start to question whether our actions are truly aligned with our desires, or if they're just a reaction to this deep-seated fear. Understanding this fear is the first step towards overcoming it. Now let's explore some key points to remember when dealing with the fear of rejection. Firstly, remember that everyone experiences rejection. It's a universal human experience. No one is immune to it, not the most popular, not the most successful, not even the most loved. It's a common thread that weaves through the fabric of our shared human experience. So take solace in the fact that you are not alone in this. Now, let's talk about the importance of not taking rejection personally. When we face rejection, it's easy to let it become a reflection of our self-worth. But it's crucial to understand that rejection often has more to do with the other person than with you. People make decisions based on their own experiences, beliefs, and circumstances. Their choices are a reflection of them, not you. Consider a scenario where you've built up the courage to ask someone out, only to be turned down. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking there's something wrong with you. But maybe, just maybe, it had nothing to do with you at all. Maybe they just got out of a relationship, maybe they're not ready to date, or maybe they're dealing with their own insecurities. So, instead of taking it personally, see it as a mismatch of circumstances or timing. This brings us to the importance of self-love and self-acceptance. Overcoming the fear of rejection begins with accepting ourselves, flaws and all. It's about recognizing our worth and not letting anyone else's opinion diminish it. It's about loving ourselves enough to know that we deserve relationships that are reciprocal, respectful, and rewarding. Remember, rejection isn't a measure of your worth. It's a part of the process of finding what fits best with you. Each rejection is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. It's a stepping stone towards finding the right person, the right job, or the right opportunity. In the end, overcoming the fear of rejection is about embracing vulnerability and understanding that rejection is a part of life, not the end of it. It's about having the courage to put ourselves out there, even when there's a risk of being turned down. Because the only way to truly avoid rejection is to avoid living, and that's not a life worth living, is it? So, what can we take away from all of this? Understanding the psychology behind fear of rejection is crucial. It's an inherent part of being human, but it doesn't define us. We've discussed strategies to manage this fear, embracing self-love, considering rejection as redirection, and taking calculated risks. The key is to remember that rejection is not a reflection of your worth. Remember, fear of rejection is normal, but it doesn't have to control your life. With understanding and self-love, you can overcome it. Until next time, keep growing and keep learning.